In a world where conflict seems endless, two countries, Rivara and Eldoria, found themselves in a bitter war that had lasted for years. Once united by trade and culture, the spark of animosity ignited over a dispute regarding territory. It all began when Rivara claimed a border region that Eldoria believed was rightfully theirs. Tensions escalated, and soon the sound of gunfire replaced laughter in the streets. Families were torn apart, cities were reduced to rubble, and the atmosphere was thick with fear and uncertainty. Both nations lost thousands of lives, and with every passing day, the wounds grew deeper. But amidst the chaos, a small flicker of hope emerged. Enter a young diplomat from Eldoria named Lena. She had grown up listening to stories of peace and unity, and she refused to believe that this war was their final chapter. Lena had a vision for peace that she was determined to realize. She began reaching out to the Rivara government, proposing a summit to discuss a ceasefire. At first, her calls were met with skepticism and outright rejection, but Lena was persistent. After weeks of tireless effort, she finally received a response. The leaders of Rivara agreed to meet, but under strict conditions. The meeting would take place in a neutral location, a historic castle that had once hosted kings and queens from both lands. Lena felt a rush of excitement mixed with anxiety. As the day of the summit approached, the atmosphere was charged with tension. Both sides were wary. They'd seen too much devastation to trust easily. But Lena believed in the power of dialogue. On the day of the summit, representatives from both countries gathered in the grand hall of the castle, the air thick with unease. The Rivaran leader, a stern man named General Kellen, spoke first. His voice was heavy with authority. "We will not be bullied into surrender or compromise. Our land was taken from us, and we will fight until our last breath." The room grew silent, and Lena felt the weight of the moment pressing down on her. But then it was her turn. Lena stood, her heart racing, and spoke with conviction. "I understand your pain, General Kellen, but fighting will only lead to more suffering. Look around you. Families have been shattered on both sides. We must find a way to heal." As she spoke, Lena noticed a flicker of recognition in Kellen's eyes. Maybe, just maybe, he understood the cost of this war. She continued, sharing stories of families torn apart, of children who could only dream of a future without fear. Gradually, the atmosphere began to shift. The representatives from Rivara exchanged glances, their resolve starting to waver. Lena proposed a series of steps to negotiate peace: a ceasefire, followed by discussions on territory, and then a commitment to rebuilding together. The debate was intense, with voices rising and falling, but Lena remained calm. She listened, acknowledged their fears, and offered solutions. And slowly the barriers began to crumble. Hours passed, and just when it seemed like the summit was on the verge of collapse, General Kellen stood again. Perhaps we can consider a ceasefire," he said, his voice softer than before. The room gasped. With renewed hope, both sides began to talk, negotiating terms and finding common ground. It wasn't easy, but little by little, they crafted a fragile agreement. By the end of the day, Rivara and Eldoria had signed a ceasefire. It was just the beginning, but it felt monumental. As they stepped outside the castle, the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the land. In that moment, they realized that peace, though hard-won, was possible. And so the story of Rivara and Eldoria became one of resilience, a testament to the power of dialogue. They had learned that even in the darkest of times, hope could rise from the ashes of conflict, proving that peace is worth fighting for.